welcome back to the SA Sports Show. Time to get into a little bit of controversy, Mark. Now, this segment you're not familiar with, but we've had welcome to Bevan. Bevan Jones is with us, mate. Nice to see you.
That's good to see you. It's so good to see you.
Hey, Bevan, how are you, mate?
Going well, how are you? Good to see you,
Very well,
mate.
thank you, yeah.
Well, let's not exchange pleasantries here.
Okay.
We haven't got a lot of time.
We're putting on an act here. We don't like each other at all, actually.
Now, we've got a little bit of controversy all over the place, Bevo. It's like a picnic out there for you at the moment, mate.
Yeah, it certainly is.
What have you got for us today?
We'll actually talk about a sport we don't always talk about, Baz, especially here in South Australia, because NRL is dominant by the Queensland and New South Wales states, of course. But we saw the grand final last Sunday night between the Roosters and the Raiders, and that was unfortunately embedded with controversy. The first thing was the runner after 3 minutes of the game, the Roosters runner getting in the way of the Raiders and preventing them from scoring a try.
Hit him in the head.
Yeah.
Ball hit him in the head.
Ball hit him in the head. What was it? Yeah, the whole point there is, what is he doing there? What is he doing there to get hit in the head after 3 minutes with a water bottle in his hand? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it wasn't 40 degrees in that grand final.
And it was 3 minutes into the game.
And it's 3 minutes into the game. Nobody needs a drink. He's out there delivering a message.
Question has to be asked, definitely.
Well, it's all right for Todd Greenberg to come out now and say, look, we're going to look at this during the off-season. If you remember rightly, the AFL have done the same thing. They've said no more runners on the ground during play. You can come out when a goal is scored or whatever, quarter time.
They've limited it,
Exactly. Now, the NRL are going to do the same thing off-season. But my point with all this is, not only was what was he doing there in the first place after 3 minutes, but
he was disorientated.
that's possibly a Raiders try. Because there was a Raiders guy about to pounce on that ball and he would have scored under the post. So the Raiders had a little bit of a... Look, well done to the Roosters. Let's not get... They played really well. That try they scored after the controversy was a brilliant try. It was a typical Roosters try. But should it have happened?
That's right.
But should it have happened? Now, that is going to be talked about by rugby people for a long, long time because, Mark, I was really intrigued by... I couldn't wait to hear from Ricky Stewart because... He's not frightened to have a crack.
No,
he's not frightened to have a dip.
He's not backwards in conversation.
He's been blind more than you and I, mate.
He loves it. He loves controversy.
So
he'd love to do this segment.
Exactly right. I couldn't wait for him after the match. I could not wait to hear Ricky Stewart, and he was muted. You could tell that he knew that, look, I've just lost the grand final. I don't want to lose another 50 grand. Because he was furious, he would have been fuming about a couple of things. No problems at all. There's going to be a lot more of this.
But they shouldn't get those things wrong. Those things are basic, though.
That's right.
Wouldn't you think so?
Yes.
I mean, they're basic.
It shouldn't cost the team a grand final, should it?
No.
Well, did it cost them a grand final?
No, probably didn't cost them a grand final.
Would the Raiders have scored? Would they have played the game differently had that set of six not been rewarded to Sydney? Yes, I think they would have played it differently. They would have played it a lot differently. So it's all okay in hindsight and all that. But Mark, I agree with you here. Should that mistake have been made in the first place? And I say no.
Let's look at that.
Today's game.
Imagine if that happened in the AFL, in an AFL grand final between Richmond and the Giants. I know obviously that was a one-sided grand final this year, but say it was more of a competitive game, and that cost the team a grand final in the AFL. That would just be absolutely.
Mind you, if
I
that
don't think it's over yet. I don't think it's over.
Mind you, if that had happened in the AFL grand final, it might have made it a bit more interesting. I mean, let's try and hit a runner on the head with a ball or something.
It was about as interesting as a toothache.
That's a good point.
It wasn't good.
I've had a toothache recently.
It wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. Let's get off the NRL. What do you got, mate?
Let's talk about AFLW, guys, because there's real concern about the AFLW with the season not too far away, and all the girls are absolutely fuming about the issues with the pay at the moment and this pay dispute.
What are they
what are they going to they're not happy with the pay they're going to be getting. So what are they going to do about it?
To play 6 games or 7 games?
I think they need to be careful here. I mean, this is the early stages of what is going to be a long-term sport and an earner for them. I mean, this is 2-3 seasons in.
I agree with you, mate. I agree.
Don't you reckon?
Well, it's a bit like we spoke last week about the statue of Taylor
Harris. Yes.
We spoke a bit about. There's a lass who's played 30 games of football. Or whatever, a statue. Well, hang on a minute. No. There's a lot of controversy about that.
Yes. Yeah.
Now we're talking about the team. How long have we played? 2 years?
Yeah.
A pay deal? Are you kidding me?
And being militant about it.
Well, I don't want to be seen to be sexist or whatever.
No, but them being militant
really
about it, though.
To me, be very careful.
I would have thought so. Yeah.
Very careful because. You're playing 6 or 7 games of football, or maybe I think it's more now because there's more teams, but hang on a minute.
Not too many more. But what about if the AFL washes their hands of this?
That's right.
I mean, all of a sudden they're going to be left out on a limb. I mean, they must appreciate what the AFL are doing for them.
Well said.
I mean, whether they feel they're being paid. I mean, look, personally, I don't think they're being paid enough. But you've got to be patient.
That's right.
Do we know what they are paid?
Well, 50 or 60,000 for some of the higher.
High paid, like Ellen Phillips and these sort of
yeah, that sort of money, and $15,000, $20,000 for the others.
It's not enough to.
But you've still got to wait. You've got to be patient though, Baz.
Yeah, you do.
Don't you reckon?
Look, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I was absolutely gobsmacked when I read this. I thought, hang on, girls.
You've got to be really careful with how you say it, because like you said, you don't want to be seen as being sexist, but you've also, like you guys raised a really good point there. The girls, it is only their third or fourth season this year, so and the AFL, is giving them the opportunity to play at the highest level, which is fantastic. They're throwing exactly. So they should be really careful with that because they don't want to burn the AFL and upset the wrong people from the AFL.
Well, think about the other sports. Yeah. Let's take the Adelaide Lightning, for instance. Been around a long time.
Yeah.
Nearly extinct a couple of times
in the
last decade or whatever.
Been through a lot of stressful periods.
Team. Can't find a sponsor, can't get this, can't get that. What are those girls thinking about this business here now with the AFLW? They're going to give themselves a pretty ordinary name. That's what they're heading for. You cannot afford to do that because the punters will no longer go.
That's right.
You stop the punters. What I think the AFL should be doing anyway with this sport is making people pay at the gate.
Well, that'd be a test. That'd be a test.
That's a big test.
Even $5 a game.
It doesn't matter what it is, Bevo, but make them pay.
I don't think they want to do that. Well, I think they're concerned about the numbers. I think at the moment they're happy to make it free. And again, that's a favour to the fans, which again the players should understand and appreciate.
Exactly right.
Yeah?
Exactly right, Mark. And they are throwing bucket loads of money at the sport. They have to get it going. But there's a lot of other women's sports out there that probably deserve good money as well because of the hours and the time they put in, but they're not getting it. So there's going to be a little bit of how do you do going here.
It's a very good point. That Lightning one's a great example, Baz, because these girls have been playing for a very long time and put all their time and effort into it. And they wouldn't be getting anywhere near the money what AFLW players
We produce some absolute superstars.
We do.
Olympians.
Erin Fields has played for the Lightning before
as
well. Exactly.
So it's a little bit of a tricky one. And what you said earlier, Mark, be very careful. It's about being careful what you wish for here. You don't upset the apple cart because at the moment the old apple cart's cruising along.
There's a right way to negotiate, and I think at the moment they're being a bit aggressive.
Yeah, well said.
What else?
So the Adelaide Crows guys, I'd like to talk about them because obviously there's a number of players that are starting to leave, and there's talk about the camp being a disaster and what have you, but maybe it's actually not a bad thing for the Crows in going forward because obviously all these older players are leaving now, but they are older players, Greenwood's, Keys, these guys in their late 20s, Eddie Betts, these sort of blokes are starting to get towards the end of their footy anyway. So maybe rejuvenating their list and bringing all these young kids along might not be such a bad thing for the future for the Crows. The same way Port's doing it with their list and bringing all these young guys in and playing a younger side this year.
Well, I don't think they have any choice.
I don't think they've got a choice.
Really?
I think they're in a bit of I spoke to Mark earlier about this.
This is a good point. This is a good point,
I think they're a year short. I think they're a year too late. This should have been done last year.
Yeah.
And we said, fair enough, the Adelaide Crows may have looked at 2018 as still a premiership window and let's hold on to them for another year. Well, if that doesn't work, you leave yourself open to having a list that's the oldest in the league, disenchantment, disappointment, all those little things come into it.
Yep.
We lost that final, we didn't play that well this year.
It all adds up.
It all adds up.
Yep.
Then people go, well, I want to move now. Because players aren't stupid, Bevo. Players can see a premiership window themselves. Players can see, gee, are we still in it here? Maybe the Bulldogs are. Maybe Brisbane are.
That's a good point.
I'll try and get there.
And
There's loyalty really today's footy. Well, is there any? So they'll go. They'll go. Players will go. If there's no premiership hope, they'll walk.
And it was clear last year that the coach was playing their senior players rather than, unlike Port Adelaide.
Yes.
Port Adelaide, to their credit, played 2 or 3 or 4 of their youngsters. You've got 15, 20 games in those youngsters now. Yeah. But no, I don't think they had any choice, Bevo.
Yeah.
But I just think they're
it's a good point. But maybe it's not as bad as what people think, though. And a good young list, some good young players coming through. The Crows aren't. It might not be as bad as what people are thinking, and a rejuvenation could be a good thing for the club.
Still got to replace those numbers, though.
That's right.
You've still got to replace them.
Now we're starting to hear more about the camp. that was
That's
never
right.
a problem.
Yeah.
Wasn't a problem. That wasn't a problem. Well, it is a problem.
It was definitely a problem. They tried to hide it, didn't they?
Well, they've tried.
yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
You cannot do that. And then I don't think Cam Ellishoman is going to be the only one to come out about this. I think
agree.
in the next few weeks, you might see a little bit more.
I wouldn't be surprised if Eddie Betts comes out and says something because he was quite.
I think he was knee-deep in it.
He wasn't happy with that.
Well,
at all,
I think he's writing a book. So you would think that if that's the case, there would be something in the book. But Baz and I was saying this earlier before the start of the show. All these little spot fires that the Crows need to put out is tough for them. But conversely, Port Adelaide are just sitting back. They didn't make the 8, but they're not getting criticised. So they'd be sitting back just doing their own thing. It's an easy time for them at the moment.
Cruise at the moment. Yeah.
One thing I do want to talk about Port though, because I'm a little bit concerned about Fantasia and chasing after him. I don't know if he's the player that Port needs at the moment. Like, he's a good player, but he's very inconsistent. Howard and Power Pepper are two very good young players. Howard can play both ends. Power Pepper's an inside ball that has real potential to be a superstar. I don't know if we need to trade these guys for Fantasia. We've already got guys like Tobin Cox, Rosie, obviously. Butters, these sort of younger guys that can play forward, that are small forwards. I don't know if we need Fantasia.
All speculation, Bevo.
Yeah.
It's like the trade week. Too long. Trade week. You don't need it. Nothing will be done until next week. Nothing will be done until Sunday.
It's just
we're
immediate
gonna go
bluff,
through all
isn't it?
the speculation
All
about
rumour and
all the
innuendo.
journos. Yeah, all the journos trying to outdo each
Just
other.
like
he's going here, he's going over there, he's up here.
All rumour and innuendo, just like this segment.
Exactly right, Bevo. And we run out of time in this segment as well.
We always do.
Yeah, because
Hey,
of
Steve,
Good to
pleasure.
see you.
Good to see
yeah,
you
you
too.
two should get a room or something.
Not again.
That's right. Thanks for coming in, mate. Really enjoy seeing you every week, pal.
You too, guys. Thanks
See
so
you,
much.
mate.
With Controversy Corner. We'll be back with more in just a moment.